How's it going?
How these first couple practices gone? They look seems pretty usual, smooth as usual. Just a little bit more walkie-talkie and stuff.
Yeah, calling the plays to the quarterbacks, but that's just stepping up where I need to. But everything's been smooth. Our guys have come out and had the right mindset, and our tempo's been awesome, and practices have been really good. Just got to keep going, one day at a time.
How has Brock seemed to respond from? I mean, he's obviously heard play calls from you before. How has he been through the first couple days?
Great. Yeah, I haven't had any issues. I've have experience in camp of calling plays and move the ball periods, and obviously in preseason it's a long time between then and the season. But they get used to it pretty quick, and then Kyle will be back out there at some point, and they'll get used to him. So it's all going good.
You added a lot of speed at receiver and at running back. Is the hope to try to create more space and put more pressure on the defense? What was the kind of the mindset of the offseason?
Yeah, always trying to add more speed and more explosiveness to our offense every year. And, if we were lacking in that last year, there's a lot of reasons why, but I think we definitely fell off in terms of our explosiveness as an offense, our yards after contact. So we're trying to add players that add value in that area. But those things are products of playing the right way, of running the football better, of getting more opportunities in the pass game. When you run the ball better, there's more opportunities for play action explosives. It's all sorts of things. It's a collective effort, and so we got the right guys out there that are working, and just got to keep getting better.
It's early, but it seems like Mike Evans' presence alone in the wide receivers room has kind of upped the competition. I mean, there's new guys in there.
Absolutely. I mean, Mike being in there is one thing. He's a vet. He's a pro. He knows how to work. He knows how to compete every day and get better. But in my opinion, that whole room it's just taking a big step from last year to this year. There's continuity. There's guys who maybe missed time last year between Jordan and Jake in camp, but they're out there every day. They're getting better, and I just seen a lot of growth across the board. And those guys come out every day with the right mindset. They're on their assignments. They're working. They're competing, and it's going to be fun to watch that room kind of become what it does over this next however many weeks of training camp. And it's one of the positions where we have a lot of competition, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
You guys had a lot of injuries at that position last summer. I think only a couple guys kind of escaped the summer unscathed. Is the kind of new practice schedule, the jog through yesterday, part of an effort to keep everyone, the wide receivers, a little bit more fresh, healthy throughout the summer?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not just about the receivers. We're never going to make an adjustment to benefit one position group. It was a team thing, and just studying, talking to different people around the league and looking at different ways people do camp. We just thought it was a smart adjustment for us to not be going 3 days in a row of practice. And the other benefit of that was that everybody gets to practice every day. We have days when we were doing our traditional 3-day block where a lot of vets would be missing that third day to just kind of take the workload off of them. But the way we're doing it now is everyone's out there every day, and we don't have to compensate for a lower number in a practice, which is where sometimes you might get an injury. When you're low on receivers one day or low on linemen or something, guys have to take more reps. So we're trying to avoid that as best we can by adding that jog through day. And yesterday was good. It was our first one, and hopefully we get the results we want moving forward.
Dribbling and Galen Black and what you've seen from them in the past few days.
Yeah, good work by both of those guys these first 2 days. Long way to go. I mean they're rookies, and they got a long way to go to grow. The volume of the playbook is going to keep going up, and they got to stay with it. But you can't ask for anything more in terms of what they've done so far. They are very sharp young men in terms of being on the details of their playbook. They practice extremely hard. They're very coachable, and that's all you can ask from those guys. And they got to keep stacking days and getting better.
Dribbling in, Jordan Watkins went to Nashville to work with Brock and Mac. Can you see a little difference in their level of coming into training camp?
Which guys did you say?
Jordan Watkins and Dejon Stribling.
Well, Jordan, yeah. I mean, Jordan's taken a step. I mean, he went through a rookie year with ups and downs of injuries, and he's been a lot more consistent. And you'd like to see that. He was like that in the offseason. He looks that way now. I think the work with Brock over the summer for all those guys was huge. Not just from the football, but just the camaraderie and just being together and working together. That's always an added benefit for those guys. And Strib as well. I think Strib was there, and Strib was here a lot in the summer working and training. So again, that's all good. It's all just the starting point though, and it gets us off to a good start.
Coach, you come into to training camp, and I know it's only been 2 days, but I'm sure you come in with the mindset of marks you want to hit each day. What have you kind of seen executed that you like through the first 2 days, which of course you'll build on throughout training camp?
Yeah, you want to see guys come out with the right mindset every day. And what I mean by that is, they're preparing in their meetings, right? They're on the details of the practice script, which allows them to play fast, which allows them to play decisively because they're thinking with clarity. They're playing with a clear mind. You want to see that every day, okay? And it gets harder as we go through camp because the volume goes up. That's one thing. You want to see guys play hard. You want to see guys play fast. You want to see guys play on their assignments because we're not in pads right now, so you don't really see the physicality, but you want to see guys playing with detail and assignment sound football. And you want to have great tempo in practice always. You want guys in and out of the huddle. You want guys lining up fast, motioning fast. You want good operation. And those are the standards of every practice, and they're no different in camp. And so it's our job as coaches to hold them to that every day and just keep coaching them on it. So.
Learning the playbook for a rookie, obviously, like you're saying, it's challenging. It's going to be more and more. How much extra time does that require of them? I guess just to study, and it's not specialized routes. You want them to know every spot for the most part, still, right?
Definitely, you're training guys to know. Especially think about receiver. Yeah, some guys have a position, but every position moves. Every position runs every route. And so you want guys to be versatile. Up front on the O-line, you want guys to have versatility. With regards to the playbook, it's not so much that the playbook is huge and there's so much. It's that things add up every day. You master the first day, and then you go out there and set the second day, and there's all this new stuff, and there's these new stimuli, and the defense is doing new things. And, and that's the challenge, of, okay, I went out there today and I maybe made a few mistakes. Can I put that to bed and come out the next day and try to have a clear mind? Eventually, we're going to go to the move the ball periods where nothing is scripted, so they don't have the ability to, study the script and kind of know what plays they're going to get in practice. I'm calling it, or Kyle's calling it, so they don't know what play's coming. Can you hear the play in the huddle for the first time? Can you line up and know what to do? Those are the challenges that we're going to add to their plate as camp goes on. That's part of football. It's part of learning, and the guys that are up for the challenge, they embrace it and they grow from it and get better every day. So.
Is he the most demanding of the three?
I'm sorry?
Is the Z receiver, the flanker, the most demanding?
I wouldn't say that. You could say the Z probably moves more in our offense because he's off the ball, and that's maybe more common. But as far as demanding, the demands are the same to me for all those guys, and we want them going through all the same stresses and all the same mental and physical stresses. So, yeah.
I know you want to look forward, but just looking back at the way last year ended. You get 2 games against Seattle, 19 offensive possessions, no touchdowns, 3 field goals, I think. Obviously, you did an autopsy on the whole thing. What did you see? What did you learn? Where do you guys go from there?
Thanks for the reminders, man. We were not playing good ball in those games. First of all, you give credit to Seattle. That was an elite defense. Obviously, they're a championship team, and they got the better of us in those 2 games. It's not like we study it and go, oh, we got to do this is the thing that's going to make us now have 10 touchdowns in those 2 games. Like, we have to run the ball better. We have to be better on third down. I go back to that Week 18 game, and we had something like 38 plays in the game. Well, we weren't good on third down. We didn't stay on the field. We had too many second and longs. We're putting ourselves in bad situations. So how do you fix that? You go back to the start. You get better at your scheme. You try to add players in free agency that are going to make you stronger in these areas. And you go to the playoff game and you go, okay, we actually did move the ball better, but we come out and we don't execute a short yardage and we get stopped on 4th and 1. We have a turnover on our second drive. We have a huge third down in the second quarter of that game where we throw the ball low to Ricky and he doesn't come up with it and we end up getting a field goal. It's going to be a 1-possession game if we make those plays. And, there's so many things that go into it. We have to get better as a football team. We have to worry about us, and, it's not just about beating Seattle. It's about putting our guys in position to be the best they can be so we can have a 17-game season and let the chips fall where they may. So we got to learn from those games. Certainly we got to learn, but we just got to get better as a team and keep going.
Curtis Rourke had a nice long ball to Junior Bergen on Monday. How's he doing, and where is the competition between him and Adrian Martinez at this point?
Curtis is doing great, and first of all, the competition between those guys is going to be all camp. And those guys are they've embraced it, and those guys do a great job of coming out every day and getting their minimal reps they get and getting the most out of them. They've done a good job so far. To me, that's going to emerge through the preseason games. That's when those guys are going to get the most of their reps, is in preseason. They're going to play a lot, and that battle, that competition will kind of play itself out. And the best, whoever plays the best, is probably going to end up winning that battle. But as far as Curtis and Adrian go, Curtis is what we thought he was. I mean, as far as the size, the mental strengths he has, and his ability to throw the football. It's been jumping out to us in these first 2 days, and he's got to keep stacking days and getting better. Adrian's a pro. Adrian does things the right way. The ball goes where it needs to go when Adrian's in the game, and the same thing. Consistency, learning from mistakes, getting better each day, and then the preseason games will dictate a lot of those decisions.
How hard is also to know that you have to put that load of work, but you also got to think of all the traveling that you're going to do. I mean, that first game, it's also thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
Was it challenging to prepare? Because obviously the bulk of work that you want to put, you also want to account for those long.
Yeah, I mean, we can't get too far ahead, of the travel. It's going to be different. It's going to be a challenge, certainly, because it's so unique as far as how far we're going and maybe how long we'll be gone. But I think we got to put the cart before the horse, which is we can't put the cart before the horse. We got to focus on our team right now, getting better. And then as we get closer to week one and that travel, we'll probably have some adjustments to our schedule and how we train. But for now, we're focused on getting better.
I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on Kyle's composure these last couple of days. I think it's safe to say it took a lot of guts for him to kind of own up to some of what you talked about yesterday in front of a group of reporters. I just want to hear what your opinions might be on just how he's been handling himself. I
mean, my opinions, Kyle's an outstanding leader, an outstanding mentor. He's a great friend to me. And obviously we're, all just glad he's doing well and recovering and that everything ended up kind of okay from that situation. The thing I feel really strongly kind of going through this with our team is Kyle. It's just a reflection of Kyle's leadership that, he can kind of be absent in certain ways or not as involved in certain ways, but this building and this team can continue to press on and continue to function at a high level. That's because he's enabled people to lead. He's enabled me. He's enabled our whole staff to just take on our jobs and lead in our own way. And just because he might not be here in the same way for now, and as he continues to heal, we're pressing on and we're still handling our business, and our players are handling it the right way. And again, it's all credit to his leadership. It's the standard he set. It's the culture that him and John Lynch have set here. I'm honored to be a part of it. And then as his friend, I'm glad he's getting better and just kind of taking it day by day.
Coaching at all? Is he calling you up and getting updates from you or telling you to do anything?
Kyle's here every day. Kyle's, he's definitely paying attention to what's going on out there, watching film and definitely involved, so it's not like he's absent in that way. So we're definitely communicating on certain things.
So just about kind of to follow up on that, we keep asking, everyone that talks, is Kyle reassuring you guys? But is there any conversation maybe between you and him or other coaches where you guys are reassuring him that everything's handled?
We try to, absolutely, yeah. And I know Fred said when he got up here that we got this, coach, and that's our job, is to reassure Kyle that, we're very confident in the work we're doing. I'm very confident coming in here every day and doing my job and helping lead the offense and helping support our assistant coaches who are doing a phenomenal job, everyone stepping up and just doing what we normally do, which is do our jobs and do it to a really high standard and take care of our business. And I think Kyle knows that. I think he's very confident that we're all capable of that. And so we can, just keep getting through this and keep pushing one day at a time. So thanks, guys. Have a good one.
What's up, guys?
Christian, you're kind of known for your off-season training, but there was one thing that you were doing this year where you looked like you were on the ground, you're kind of moving to the left and to the right. Is it like for your hips? What was that, and how do you feel your off-season went?
Feel great, man. Yeah, I think it went well. Always trying to get better and find different ways to get better, and whether it's bringing new people in, different ideas, but sometimes I'll share little snippets of the off-season here or there, but a lot of those drills are just fun, different ways to do mobility and continuing to just train the whole system.
Do you analyze your previous season and say, I think I can work on this, this, and this, and then tailor your off-season workouts to whatever you conclude?
Yeah, that's part of it. I think it's not that simple, but that's definitely part of it.
Can you kind of share what you focused on this past off-season?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think every offseason, you got to address what's going on, but at the same time, you're training a whole system. So everything matters. Speed matters, strength matters, mobility, everything. It's you're one system, quick twitch, all that stuff. So there's a way to build a base and kind of try to peak, and it's never linear, but that's kind of the way I look at it is you're training a system, not just one thing. And if you train the system, everything will start to get better.
You started training with Ito Portal. I know he's not necessarily, he hasn't worked with a whole bunch of football guys, but what is it that has changed, or what have you felt differently after working with him?
Yeah, he's a special person, man. We had a amazing summer. I was really grateful. I got to spend a lot of time with him and the rest of the training staff. A lot of long days, long hours, put so much into it and had a lot of fun, learning a lot, unlearning a lot, and just always good to have new perspectives in training as you continue to prolong your career.
Is there anything, one particular thing that he kind of emphasizes throughout his practice, or is it?
No, I think that the whole point is it's not one thing. Yeah, I think that would be the point, is that it's everything together. And it's almost too much to even give you an answer with words, but it was a heck of an experience. Obviously, we still did a bunch of speed and strength stuff, but yeah, he's a brilliant mind when it comes to movement, the body, the mind, everything.
Is it more like to get more explosivity or explosiveness?
That's part of it. Yeah, I mean it's everything. Yeah, I mean there's in football you train everything.
Are you a guy that enjoys training camp? Do you look at it as a way to kind of ramp up? How do you approach training camp in general?
I love it, man. Yeah, I love training camp. I think it's always difficult, but I think that's where you build your callus. That's where you get to make mistakes full speed. You get to try new things out, and so it's definitely a good time of the year where you get to grow as a team. You get to get better every day, and you get to go out there and play football, man. I don't take one day for granted, and just feel super fortunate to be out there playing with everybody.
Christian, the difficulty of being out there in training camp, it's his first when he comes to Kalon Black. Does he come to you for any advice of how to get through each day, or how to make sure that he's where he needs to be, doing what he needs to do to kind of have a successful training camp going into this season?
Yeah, definitely. He's a pro, man. He came in, and you can tell he's mature. You can tell he knows how to work. He knows how to learn, and he's made of the right stuff. So he complements our room, our team really well.
Christian, you recently became a 30-year-old running back, so you're supposed to follow the cliff, any day now. Did this birthday have any significance to you as it relates to your career and what you want to accomplish?
No, didn't. I love football, man. I never looked at the age thing. I liked looking at the guys who played really well later in their careers, but no, I mean that's hearsay. It's not nothing. That's why I approach it differently than I do 7 years ago. I'm not naive enough to think you can just keep doing the same thing. But when it comes to Sundays and playing football, I love the plan we have and to just go out there and continue to work and get better. But, one thing I love about playing this position in this sport is you never have it figured out. Every day is a new day. You get to compete, you get to play, you get to learn, you get to grow. And that's the way I'm approaching it again this year. But I feel great, and I can't wait for this year.
First impression of Kalon Black.
He's awesome, man. Kalon's awesome. He's explosive. He sees the hole really well. He's got a really good feel for things. He's got the right mentality. And, again, he just complements our room, our team really well.
A little bit older than a lot of rookies. I think he's 24, almost 25. Can you kind of see that in him? He's supposed to be good at pass protection and kind of some little things that perhaps rookies don't always have sharpened early on.
Yeah, you can see it. You see him? Yeah. No, he's stacked, man. You can definitely see it. You can tell he's played at high level of football. He's played mature football. He's made it. I can't say enough good. He's exactly what you would want a rookie to come in and be like. And again, I think our whole running back room is great, and he complements it so well. In the way he runs. I think when you look at him, his rookie year, and then you go look at me, my rookie year, they look very different in age.
You said you like to look at guys who've had success later in their careers. What are you looking for? And are there certain threads you see, or do you even reach out to some of those guys that have done that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't make a big deal out of the whole age thing. It does nothing for me. I think that's something that, with rightfully so, media will bring up. But for me, man, I just show up every day and work my butt off. Continue to work on the things I work on, and I don't think about my age. If I did, that would not be wise. That does nothing for me. So I just think about continuing to grow, continuing to go out there and ball. I don't, it's funny, like you turned 30 and people bring it up. And 2 days ago I was 29, and now, so it's, for me, man, I just keep focusing on getting better. That's all I've ever done. That's all I'll ever do. And again, I feel so fortunate to play this game. I want to play as long as I can, and I have no intention of slowing down.
Roger Craig's going to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame next week. I realize by the time he was done with his career, I'm not sure you were born, but was he any sort of influence, or did you look at the way he played? Obviously, all the similarities between you two.
Yeah, he was a pioneer, man. He was one of the first guys who really could do it all. To rush for 1,000 yards and catch for 1,000 yards in that era is different than doing it now. And so I have the utmost respect for him. I think, when you look at how good those teams were and how many big names they had, a lot of times he gets left out. And, I'm so happy that he got a gold jacket because he absolutely deserves it. And, yeah, definitely seen all of them. Those eyes when he was running through the hole. Bobby T brings that up all the time. His knee drive, all that. He was a stud.
Two more guys. With Deshaun dribbling, a lot's been talked about his blocking in the running game. I know it's early in camp and pads aren't on, but have you felt any of his blocks at any point, or has there been enough for you to form an impression on his run blocking?
I mean, I see his college tape, and he does a hell of a job at it. We haven't had pads on yet, so it's not, guys aren't out there just crackbacking our secondary. Even if they want to. But he plays full speed, man. It's another rookie who I think when you look at our whole rookie class, it's just a lot of guys who put their head down and work. And that's exactly what you want. That's what our vets do. That's what our young guys do. And so collectively, hopefully we continue to rise. But he's a hell of a player, man. He's got a great build. He's physical. He can run. And the more and more he can learn the playbook and learn this offense to where he's playing fast, he's going to be a hell of a player.
Was in here earlier talking about Mike Evans and just his impact on the wide receivers room. Have you noticed the competition level between that group rising?
Yeah. I mean, we're 3 days in, and we're so focused on our own jobs all the time. But when Mike Evans is in there, it's hard not to, listen to what he's saying and watch what he's doing and kind of hear how he sees the game. And for a young guy to come into a receiver room and have somebody like that as a mentor I hope those guys take it and run with it, because that's a special guy, special player, and glad he's on our team.
Go ahead, Chris, last one.
Christian, what was your non-football highlight of the offseason?
Oh man, just spending time with my daughter. Yeah, watching her grow every day was amazing. It's crazy how fast it's going, but that would definitely be my highlight.
How's camp going so far for you 3 days in?
It's going good. Making a lot of plays, learning the defense. And just getting along with the guys, like we all growing together.
How much different is what Raheem is implementing from what you guys did the last 2 seasons?
It's easier to play faster, and I feel like he's finer, more detailed with just like realistic things, and it's like a lot less thinking. And it's geared towards me and the guys, like our strong suits of what we do well.
You guys seem to have a really good practice on Monday, very kind of aggressive, a lot of pass breakups. I mean, is that sort of your strength, that sort of what Raheem described as sticky coverage, being kind of physical early on in downs?
Yeah, just being able to get attached to guys, or being able to contest catches, make plays, challenge guys more. So, yeah, that's what he wants, and that fits us. That's the type of ball players we are.
The other day, Demo said he felt like you really opened up to him this offseason. And how would you just describe like your comfort level at this point in your career going into year 3?
I don't play a lot of ball my first 2 years. I realized that a lot of guys don't come in and play as much as I did. So just having the experience when you already got the talent, and the reps, you see things faster, you process things faster. Things aren't new or you're not seeing them for the first time. So it's just really the experience. And then, just talking to Demo, all the experience he got. And we just, talking about ball, talking about life, everything works as one. So the game's moving a lot slower. And, I'm just growing, trying to learn as much as I can, and just trying to make as many plays as I can, really.
You learned from Mike Evans.
Slowing down, going into this offseason. Did you do something different this offseason that you had a better understanding as to what was expected of you coming into this season?
I didn't really do anything too much different. I mean, I always put the work in. It was really just like you just get experience. You just see things that you didn't see before just because you done played so much ball. So the game goes by slower. Everything just goes by slower. So it's really just an experience thing, a rep thing. Like my first 2 years, I've been playing football since I was 5, so I've always felt like I could play ball off just natural instincts, off reading and reacting. But when I can come out there now and tell you what formation they in and see double chippers and know he's only finna run 3 routes, it make the game that much faster.
Just going up against Mike Evans, what have you learned? And obviously, kind of grown up watching him, how's it just being on the same field going against him?
I think it's cool. Mike a real competitor. He's a real savvy guy. So just seeing the moves that he's able to do at his size that a lot of guys can't, and seeing just how he tracks the ball and how he be a pro, and just seeing certain things that he do. It's very, very interesting, and you can learn from it. But I also like going against Mike and competing with Mike because I feel like we 2 competitors and 2 dogs. A dog recognizes a dog. 2 dogs going to go at it with each other, and 2 dogs going to sharpen each other's sword. So,
Cornerback kind of, defend a jump ball to him if you're in the end zone or red zone.
Mike's a physical guy, so you better get physical and fight pressure with pressure. And then at that point, it's just about judging the ball and playing the ball.
This offseason, Kyle Shanahan said that he challenges you because he has high expectations for you, and he wants you to meet those expectations. How do you kind of view that as far as, coming off of the season you had last year and knowing that your coach, sets a pretty high standard for you?
As just me personally, the type of man I am, the type of ball player I am, I know who I am. I don't necessarily need anyone to tell me who I am, but knowing that somebody like Coach Kyle, Coach Shanahan, knowing somebody like him is there to push me, is there not to let me slack, is there to be on my back. Like me and him talk and we have conversations, and he's told me how he sees me, and it's kind of similar to how I see myself and what I'm capable to do and everything I want out of this game. So I appreciate him for just pushing me. Like, if it's a play where he feels like I can make it because he knows the type of ball player I am, he knows my talent and what I'm capable of, I can't do nothing but respect it because I feel like I can make that play too. So me just pushing myself is one thing, but having a coach that believes in you, that believes that you can be one of the best, believes that you can be, one of the top guys and all this and that, it just gives you more confidence to go work harder because you know that you're not going to let yourself slack, but you know that he's not going to let yourself slack either.
Demo said he feels like your confidence level is higher, especially when going against guys like Mike Evans. Has it raised, and how do you feel going into this 3rd season?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it raised. I've always been a competitor, no matter who it was. If you go back to my rookie year and watch me guard Tyreek Hill, it doesn't matter who I was playing against. I'm my biggest competitor. It's just the fact of you get older, you get more experience. So you know what guys are finna come with and what guys are finna do. I wouldn't really say that, just because I'm going Mike Evans, it's like, or this past offseason is like, yeah, I'm more of a competitor now. I've always been a competitor. That's why I'm here, because I've always competed.
Renardo, you're a competitive player, and they added Jack Jones to the room. Jones is kind of known as a real dog, a real competitor. What have you noticed from him? Anything stand out about his game?
Jack's first off, Jack's a cool guy to be around, and me and Jack have conversations and things like that. He's a real savvy football player, and Jack has real good ball skills. I give him that. He competes just like we all do, And I've been like real impressed with Jack coming in. He plays a real, savvy, aggressive type of playing style when it comes to playing the ball. And it's like things from each defensive back in the room. Each guy does something extremely well. And if somebody does something extremely well, and that could be something that you lack in, I feel like you should try to pick that up. Or you should try to learn from what you can, because we all in this together, basically.
Outside of it being the first game of the season, what are you most looking forward to about your trip down to Australia?
I'm really just looking forward to going to competing with the guys. Just going to get in the W, going to compete, going to put all this work, all this training camp stuff, all these meetings to use, and just going to do it on the big stage. That's really what I'm looking forward to, going to war with my guys.
You talked about now being able to look at a formation and kind of say, okay, it's going to be 1 or 3 routes maybe. Is that stuff that you did in college a lot, or have you recognized that that's something that's required in the NFL to have success?
I did it in college, but the NFL is more detailed and complex than college football. And in college football, I was basically this coach used to tell me, just go guard that guy man to man, and I just go press him and follow him all over the field the whole entire game. So now it's a lot more. You got to play off, you got to press, you got to read this, and you can't be late. Ain't no hesitation in our game. Once you see it, go. Like, even if you're wrong, go. Like, all that hesitation not gonna work. So just the NFL, it's more complex and detailed. You could make a play, and it's the difference between a pick and a PBU, and you only 2 inches off. But that hesitation, or just that not processing just as fast as you need to, that's the biggest difference between college and the NFL. The game is way faster.
So for you to have back Fred, having Dre and Nick Bosa for your own game, so you can focus more on things, because now you got all the support from these superstars.
When you see guys like that you play with, the standards is always high. And, just knowing that they got your back, just knowing that, they going to give it they all, just knowing the type of dogs they are, the type of guys that they got, you look left and you look right and you see some savages, but on the side of you, it's like, oh, yeah, I'm ready. Like, I don't really need a to-go speech. I don't really need motivation. I know who on my right and who on my left. So I love having those guys around me out there on the field.
A couple more.
Was that ever initially frustrating your first 2 years? Because it sounds in some ways much more simple to just follow a guy around all over the field. Were you ever thinking, like, I wish I could just do that? This is really much harder.
Not really, because offenses scheme up more in the NFL. So it's kind of hard to just play man the whole game in the NFL. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it was frustrating, because it's just part of football. Like, you got to grow. And I feel like in my first 2 years, I done made a good amount of plays, just playing the game of football, and especially being a young player, playing as much as I played my first 2 years. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was frustrating, because I done had success. I done had down moments, that's what I learned from. So, I wouldn't really say that it was frustrating or anything like that. It's just a part of the process.
It seems like this week you're doing a lot of raking the ball out, and it seems almost like a point of emphasis, maybe more so than a year ago. Is that something that Raheem emphasizes, or is that something that you've decided to do?
That's kind of always, been a thing. It just growing and understanding the game better, and understanding when the ball is loose, when the ball isn't loose, understanding how ball carriers are thinking. You always want to try to take the ball away, any chance that you get. And got guys like Fred, who does it like in his sleep. You kind of just pick games up from being around, pick the game up from being around all these great players. So it was just a point of emphasis that personally I wanted to make, but our coaches do emphasize it, but it's always been something that they emphasize. I just wanted to put it in my head more, just like, when I'm going out there, just not doing it if I can. No, it's like, hey, at the end of this play, go punch the ball. At the end of this play, go punch the ball.
Biggest lesson you've learned over the last 2 seasons?
The biggest lesson I probably learned is just take accountability even when it's not your fault. Like, even when, no matter who it is, the media, anybody, the player, whoever it may be, point the finger at you, just approach it how you do in real life as a man. Just take accountability and go and, just fix it, go and try to work better to, accomplish the goal, to do whatever you got to do. All that pointing the finger, all that crying and complaining, that's not going to get you nowhere. Take it for what it is, even if, it's right or wrong, and then move on and just go get the job done.
Trying to find your voice in the building. Since coming into the NFL, obviously, you're just naturally quieter coming into a new situation. And beyond the football stuff, just being around the guys and feeling comfortable to have, the conversations and I guess be comfortable in your own skin here.
Ask the first part of that question again.
What's it been like trying to find your voice?
I don't really say it's me trying to find my voice. I know exactly who I am. I'm the type of person that I don't always say a lot, but I call things a spade for a spade, and I always I speak when I need to speak. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So it's just when you grow and you get older, and it's younger guys who look up to you, younger guys who asking you questions and trying to see the way to do things, and I'm like, I've been there, I've done that, or I done did this, or I done had success doing this. It's like you want to help. You want to help people. You want to help guys grow. You want to help everything just elevate, because if we all elevate, then we better as a team. We're only as strong as the weakest link, basically.
All right, who's first?
What's your favorite thing about training camp and your least favorite thing?
Least favorite thing would be the hotel. Favorite thing is, I would say, getting back into the season. It's the start of a new season. You get to be around guys again, and it's just it's from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. is with the guys, and just kind of that camaraderie building, and obviously playing football is a lot of fun too. So that's kind of the fun, and not so fun part is the hotel, being away from my dogs and wife.
Is the actual hotel kind of run down too?
No, the Santa Clara Marriott is a great hotel, okay? No, it hasn't changed since I've been there, but I got a great room with a patio, and it's great, so I'm not complaining about it.
Colton, the first year said that he felt like Pooney and Colby had, I think he said, awesome off seasons. Mm-hmm. You watch these guys pretty closely. What do you think of their development?
Yeah, I mean, he's right. Obviously Connor, he's training in Iowa. I don't get to see him as much, but just from, seeing what he looks like now, looks like a completely different player than when, his rookie year, when, guys come in kind of big-eyed and trying to figure it out. He understands it a little more. He's playing a little faster. You see he's put on a little weight too, so he looks good. And obviously Dom, love playing next to him. And just talked to him yesterday about, he understands a lot more. And every year you're in this system, you pick up little nuances, whether it's, how you can use the play that's called to your advantage, and kind of how, Kyle schemes it and Fur coaches it. He's picked up on that, and just the level of confidence he's at and where he's at in his development. It's cool to see, and every guy's come in ready to go. That's what camp's about, and obviously the first 2 weeks, and now we got pads going on. So now's when the real thing starts.
You're about.
Speaking of nuances, Trent earlier this week said it's beneficial to be able to go up against the new scheme that Raheem Morris is implementing for the defense. What are some of those benefits? Obviously, it's not new, like you've never seen that type of defense before, but having to practice up against it, how is that beneficial?
It's beneficial in the way that that's all we see in the regular season. So now that we get to go against it starting in August instead of game planning it for the first week in September, it makes it a lot easier for us. Obviously, it makes it fresher in our minds. We're seeing it a lot more. It's not, a typical 4-down jetting front. So we're getting a lot of looks with 5-down, spinners with D linemen off the ball. So it just kind of puts us ahead of the game and what we're going to see, in the season more than just a 4-down base front. So a lot more schematically different for us, and it helps us in the long run.
Being a vet or not new to the game, not new to the NFL, would you say it makes you guys more comfortable?
Of course. I mean, anytime you can go against a defense that you don't see until September before then is great for us, instead of trying to relearn a new defense in September. So it's great that we get to go against it now, and we get to see all kinds of different looks. It just helps us, prepare earlier.
We're about 6 weeks away from starting the season down in Australia. So At what point do you start thinking about a Myles Garrett or getting your body clock matched up, since it's 5:45 in the morning right now there?
What was it, 10:55 or 10:50 kickoff down there, a.m.? When it comes to those guys, I mean, Miles obviously out in the division now. Who knows who else they may add or may not. Our division's good. It is what it is. That's what you want. Obviously, defending Super Bowl champs are in our division, so there's no game where we're going to see a bad player. But that kind of clock starts, usually 2 weeks out. Like right now, we're worried about installing runs, installing passes, going against our defense, kind of scheming them, but really just getting a feel for our offense and how we're going to gel as a group. And then obviously 2 weeks out is kind of when things are settled and we're ready to rock, and that's when we're game planning them. But yeah, it'll be interesting with a 10:50 clock, but we're down under, so it'll be cool.
You ready to see Nick across from you in practice again? It's been a while.
It's been a little bit. About time he gets out there. But no, anytime you can go against Nick, like you said, Cam, it speeds it up. So the more looks we can get against a guy like him, it only helps us in the long run, going against that kind of speed, power. All of these, one of the best edge rushers in the game. So the faster he can get out there, the better for us.
With a couple of injuries, it seems like there's some opportunities for guys like Kalon Black, Deshaun's dribbling right now. What would have been kind of your early impressions, particularly of those two guys and the way they've embraced the opportunities that are given?
Fast and running hard, which is nice to see. When you get young guys that come in and can just hit the hole and hit it fast, and there's no question on second guessing or chopping their feet in the hole, it makes our job a lot easier. And obviously in the passing game too, I think a couple of those guys had some nice catches out in the flats today as well. So when you get young guys who are confident, they're not questioning themselves and just hitting it, obviously you can correct that, but hesitation, you can't correct it. Guys got to figure it out, but when they're coming in right now running as hard as they are, they got great leadership in that room with Bobby T and C-Mac, so it's nice to see it early on.
Is that unusual for a rookie, particularly like the outside zone stuff, to be as decisive as you're seeing?
It is. I mean, colleges aren't really running it. So there are a few, but when you get guys who can come in and run it like they are, it's nice to see, and it makes our jobs a lot easier.
When you add somebody like Mike Evans and all the roster that you guys already have, because at the end of the season last year, it seemed like there was times that you were holding on the forward, Brock was finding the spaces, but he couldn't find someone to throw to add a piece like that. And then seeing the young guys being able to do these things, does it make your life easier?
Sure does. When you can get guys open and not hold on the ball for 3 to 4 seconds, I mean, you get it out quick. It's a lot harder on D-ends. It's a lot harder on defenses. It makes our job easier. And obviously run the ball helps too. When you can run the ball, have possession, and then you get a deep threat like Mike, it changes the scope of games. So when you have that threat and it kind of keeps the defense from stacking a box. It helps us in the run, it helps in the pass. So, those weapons are essential to us being good on offense and then playing well together.
Enrique has a reputation for having a good personality, open personality.
Yeah.
Have you seen that already? And just what are your early assessments of him?
Yeah, there's a good group of rookies. I mean, they're working on their jokes right now, but you can see him obviously working before practice with Fur in Rome. Just willingness to work, I think, is one of the biggest things that these guys have. They've got a lot of talent. They're very open about it, and they're learning. So obviously it's their first 3 practices of their first camp, but you can see the talent in them and what those guys possess. And Enrique especially, he's got great feet and hands. He's going to have to learn a little bit of our scheme and try and fit into that. And we're, learning footballs is going to be the big thing for him, but the talent he has is he's a good player. So we'll see once the pads come on and one-on-ones and how that works. But they're off to a good start.
Jokes are they working on?
Huh?
What jokes are they working on?
I don't tell jokes anymore. I'm past that point.
You're one of the leaders on this team, and obviously the Shanahan accident impacts things. But do you think it's going to impact your football team? It seems like you got a lot of coaches, a lot of veterans here. What is the impact of that accident on this team?
It sucks. No one wants to be in a car accident. Obviously, Kyle wants to be out there coaching us and leading meetings, and that's kind of what we look forward to in the morning is, our protect the team stuff and just his, how he views the game and connects offense and defense. Not having him in there is tough, but obviously, like you said, we've got a group of guys who multiple Pro Bowls, coaches who have been here together for a while, players who have been here together for a while. young guys who have bought in. So obviously we miss him, but on the field it's the same, business as usual. He's watching it, coaching it, and then it's passed down through his guys. So it sucks he's not out there, but I know he's going to come back as fast as possible. But we're not skipping a beat.
Christian's notorious for his workouts. Does he look as explosive as ever?
Who, Christian?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Christian McCaffrey. It looks great.
Connor Colby was kind of thrown into the fire in his first season, and he had some challenges as a rookie. Is he someone that reached out to you about the beginning of your career? Did you guys talk at all?
Yeah, I mean it's hard to get Connor to say a few words, but the words we have had, he's asked about what's it like, how do you slow the game down, in your experience, how do you flush plays, and that's the one thing is once a bad play happens, how fast can you flush it and move on to the next, and that's what we're seeing this year coming in, that just another year added to a player can help, and it's not just what's going on. So the slower you can make the game, obviously it's a fast one, but the slower you can make it, it's better for a player. So for him to come in and realize that at where he's at and where he wants to be, it just shows his experience and kind of where he's at right now. So it's good to see him asking questions and then wanting to get better.
No, it's very early, and Stribling is a rookie, but have you noticed in the spring or early on in training camp without pads his ability to help the tackles out with the way he can block in the running game?
We got a group of receivers who are blocking right now. And that's the one thing that we coach most is our receivers in blocking. That's what Kyle demands. That's what our offense demands. We can do our best up front. Our tight ends are fullbacks, but if we don't have receivers who are going to get in there and get muddy and dirty, and you're seeing young guys who are buying in, and that's the biggest thing that we've always had and needed and wanted is young guys who buy in. We saw it with last year's class, and they played well, and then we're going to need the same thing. So for a guy like Stribling to come in and already be doing that, you're seeing Jake Cowing doing it, Malik Turner doing it. So guys who are doing this already in camp, we'll see. In 2 days, Pat's come on. We'll see if it keeps going, but I got a lot of confidence in those guys that it will.